This is another thing that I haven't really talked about publicly. Okay, here I am. I've just had the best year in my career. I've been nominated for awards. Like, I'm going to walk away from that. The cost of that success was that it took a toll on my health.
Because I think we probably have some realtors that are listening to this conversation, is when you build your business around you and your brand and your personality, like you attract people to you. Like you don't end up chasing people. You bring your people to you and they want to work with you. Well, hey friends, welcome back to our DFW New Home Podcast. Today is actually going to be a really special episode. If you've been journeying along with us, Megan and I have been sharing some wonderful tips and tricks with you over the last few weeks. And today we're going to continue to do that, but in a little bit different light. Megan has some things she wants to share and make a couple announcements. And so I'm just going to jump right in and turn it over and say, here we go. So Megan.
Yes. And this feels so crazy because this is pre-recorded and this is actually the first time that I'm talking about this publicly. So I'm a little fluttery about it.
It's good. Take your time.
Yeah, I am leaving my builder and I am becoming a realtor. So yeah, I'm getting my license. I am going to specialize in new construction.
Come on.
And I am really excited about it because I have people on a somewhat regular basis where they come out and they're like, okay, look, like we love you. We'd love to work with you. We love the builder. We even love the community, but you just don't have what we're looking for right now. And I've always been limited to, okay, I can only sell for this one builder in this one community and whatever homes we have available at that time. So now I can stick with people until the very end, until we find something. And I'm really excited about actually representing the buyer, representing their best interests, and taking all of this knowledge that I've gained from almost a decade of working on the new construction side of things and helping them guide them through that process from the other end of it, from their end.
And I didn't tell Megan this part, but I'm gonna just give her some public affirmation of just first of all, I am so excited because we're gonna talk about it a little bit, but Megan and I this is gonna be like a partnership deal between the two of us. So excited to build with her, figuratively and literally. Excited to do this journey with her, but she is one of my favorite builder sales reps to work with. And I've had experience with a ton of different ones, good ones, bad ones, and everything in between. When it comes to care for their people, when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to just the way that she presents her. I mean, you feel that if you've listened to any of our episodes or watched anything we've done up until this point, I hope you feel that from her. And she is a phenomenal person to work with. And so I can't tell you how excited I am. I've been she had told me about this, recently about deciding to make this change. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, let's go. I am so pumped. So I want to, publicly say how excited I am to be partnering with you, but even more so excited because so many people are going to get such a great experience working with you. It's going to be, I truly think it's going to be life-changing for them and life-changing for you. So you are one of my best, one of my most exciting things that I'm excited about for 2024. So let's go crush it.
I know I'm probably going to cry at some point during this episode.
Hey, but, it's okay. That is, we're all human and we all have emotions. And so can I add, I want to make this episode kind of about you and your story. So can I ask the question, what prompted this? Why the change? And yeah.
So this is another thing that I haven't really talked about publicly. I've sprinkled it in here and there. I haven't made an official announcement or anything like that. It hasn't really been a big part of my content on social media. But now that I'm moving into this new phase of my career, it's something that I do want to be more open about. And I think it will also help with things like burnout. And that is that I am actually autistic. I have ADHD, and that's a really big part of who I am. And I have felt these are still things that are very stigmatized. And I was diagnosed late in life. So I never wanted it to be like something that people wouldn't trust how capable I am
Mm.
because I have a disability and because of who I am. See, I told you I was gonna cry.
It's okay. It's good.
And, like, the thing about how my brain works is I work in bursts. I can
Mm.
get an 8 hours day or 8-hour days worth of work done in 3 or 4 hours.
That's
And
impressive.
with the thank you, but it comes at a cost.
Uh-huh.
Um, People who are neurodivergent like I am, we burn out 3 times as frequently as neurotypical people. It takes a lot of energy to be able to work in bursts like that or just to be able to function, just to get through the day. There are days that I have where it's an accomplishment that I can get out of bed and brush my
Mm.
teeth, and brush my hair, and feed myself, and
Mhm.
that's a win for the day.
Yeah.
And with the current work structure of new home sales, of like right now, like I said, this is pre-recorded. I'm driving 40 minutes into work to spend 8 hours a day in an office and spending 40 minutes driving home. And I know a lot of people do that. For me in particular, like if I get all my work done in the first half of the day, well, I still have half a day where I need to
Yeah.
be physically present in an office when
Right.
I'm already exhausted from the work I just did. So it's gotten to a point where it's just not sustainable. That kind of
Mm.
schedule is not sustainable for my health anymore. Because that's
And
another
that
thing that comes along
and that's
with
I think that's a really big deal. So I'll give I'm gonna interject here with this. So like builder sales reps in general, that it's a hard job. Like it's y'all have had a job. So like that Megan's talking about, hey, we're driving 40 minutes one way to be in a community. There's a good chance for a lot of builder sales reps, they're driving 40, 45 an hour plus from where they live.
yeah.
And also a lot of times with depending on the builder, they get moved around very frequently.
Mhm.
I was literally having a conversation with another sales rep earlier this week, and it was like they just found out like he worked the weekend and then Monday morning got a phone call and said, "Hey, you're going to a new community starting today." And it's
Yeah.
like, wait, what? And then I know that there's hard times too because like you're you're constrained to being in that office,
Mhm.
and it's great when you have traffic coming through. But let's be honest, you probably have days where it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't actually seen another human. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's hard, and you're like, what am I? Why am I? What are we actually doing? And there's only so many follow up phone calls and follow up emails you can do.
Mhm.
But I think what you said about it's just not sustainable for you. I think that's a big deal, and I'd love for you. Let's unpack a little bit of that and what that's where that's taking you.
Yeah, and I'm sure that once I'm 100% responsible for generating all of my own leads, I might long for the day where I can sit in a model and people come to me and I don't
Yeah,
have to search them out. But for me, that's a trade-off that to be able to work from home. And this is something that I asked you about. You are a very successful realtor. You're in your second year. You and I sold a similar amount of homes last year. And
yeah,
like last year was the best year in my career so far.
mine too.
I was the top salesperson in my company when it came to like units sold.
Mm,
So it's kind of a big deal for me to say like, okay, here I am. I've just had the best year in my career. I've been nominated for awards. Like I'm going to walk away from that.
yeah,
That's a big deal, but I think again, the cost of that success was that it took a toll on my health. It was a lot of stress, a lot of hours, and not not only like not allowing myself to take the breaks that I needed, but also
mm,
feeling like the amount of time that I truly need to be able to recover from things that your typical person
yeah,
doesn't really need a lot of recovery from. I didn't feel like it was fair to ask. Like
yeah.
my boss has been very understanding with my health issues, which just to get a little bit like medical technical on you for a minute because I geek out about this kind of thing.
Come on.
Um, yeah, so there's a lot of health comorbidities that usually come along with autism and ADHD, and a
Hmm.
lot of it stems down to chronic nervous system dysregulation. So when your body is in fight or flight mode, the majority of the time, and it can get in that mode because the lights are too bright or
Mm,
people are too loud or your clothes are too tight.
Yeah.
You're overstimulated. Like that can put your body into fight or flight. And when you live most of your life in that state, your
Mm,
body will deprioritize the functions that are not required for survival. So things like digestion.
mm,
Like, okay, I don't need to digest my food to survive. So people that are neurodivergent tend to have a lot of digestive issues. And basically every single system in my body struggles to function. And it takes a lot out of you. And as understanding as my boss is, like you start to feel guilty about like I can't call in every time I feel sick because I'd be
right.
calling in all the time.
Right.
So
Well, well, and
I
two,
asked
and then
you.
you couple that, and I'm gonna give you a moment. You couple that with you work in a people-oriented business,
Yeah,
right?
so I have to be
And
on.
yeah, well, you have to be on, and I mean, and you know this sitting on, and we can talk about this from both sides, but like doing, like you're helping somebody make the largest purchase of their life,
Mhm.
like multi hundreds of
Emotions are
thousands of
high.
dollars. Yeah,
Yeah.
emotions are high, tensions are high, and I mean, you know that you become counselor, you become negotiator, you become problem
Mhm.
solver, you become like bomb diffuser in some, figuratively, not literally, and it becomes high, and so I can only imagine like I know the stress that I feel as a non
Mhm.
neurodivergent person, like manage, just running through that. So I can only imagine how that feels elevated for you, um, dealing with that on top of that. It just like
And, like, I honestly, like, I'm good at that part of the job. I'm
yeah,
okay with that. It's
yeah.
just that I can't work a normal 40-hour work week in office anymore.
Yeah.
Like, so I asked you at one point, like, okay, this is where I was getting with this. You're a successful guy. Like you've done
Yeah.
really well for yourself, especially only 2 years in the industry. So I'm like, okay, here's this guy who's doing really well. He's probably really busy. Um, I asked you like what percentage of your time is spent working from home? And I was prepared. Like, I'm like, okay, if he says anything between like 30 and 50%, I'm like, wow, game changer. Awesome.
Mhm.
Do you remember what you told me?
I
What
don't.
percentage of time?
No, I don't. I don't even
It was
know. What
like
did I tell
it
you?
was like 80 or 90% you said.
Okay, well, okay, well,
I'm
I
like,
guess if I told you that, that's probably right. And so let me qualify that 80 to 90 because I don't want it to sound like I'm not working.
no,
80 to
working from
90%.
home.
Yeah, working from home. So I
Yeah.
do, obviously I office out of my home. I don't,
Mhm.
you know, this is like a spare bedroom in our house is what this is. So I
Yeah,
spend a lot of
mine
time
too.
here, or I spend a lot. So my work from home is either is my office or my car.
Yeah.
And so I spend a lot of time here. It's either on the phone or making content or creating resources for people, or it's a lot of time in communities. But there's no like, and I think the thing that I think you're going to appreciate about this is there's no set schedule every single day, right?
Exactly.
It's you build your schedule the way that you want to build it, to generate the level of business that you want to generate. And
Yeah.
I think that's what I appreciate, about the way that I get to build my business is I
Mhm.
build what I want to build.
Yeah. To be able to have the flexibility to build a schedule that works for the way that my brain works and the way that my
Yep.
body works is just going to be absolutely life changing. And even just being able to take a break and go throw a load of clothes in the wash or hug my cats, like
Yeah.
that makes such a difference to be able to take a break, to be able to regulate my nervous system and regulate my emotions and then feel like I can come back at it is a really, really big deal. And not having to be like, okay, I have to drag myself out of bed, even though I'm having a low executive function morning and I'm
Hmm.
really struggling to do anything. Like, I got to force myself to do it because people are depending on me. They're counting on me to get to the office at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Like, to not have as much of that pressure. Like, there's still pressure, there's still stress. I know
Oh
there's
yeah.
going to be. This is being a realtor is still a very difficult job,
Yeah.
but just that amount of flexibility is going to be life
Well,
changing.
and again, and I'll, a little bit of insight into for on my side. It's like there are mornings like I'm laying in bed answering email. Like
Yeah,
you're getting the very professional. Yes, we're gonna take care of all that. And
I
I'm
would
like
love that. I
I'm
would
like
love
laying
that.
on the bed, like responding to that email, right? And then there are days like for me, it's like yesterday, for example, yesterday was a hyper busy day for me.
Mhm.
I was in several different places in the metroplex. Had a couple different meetings. So yesterday was hyper busy. Today, like the day that we're recording this, there's not a lot going. It's more follow-up things, making sure, listings are getting taken care of, some follow-up stuff with some clients, sending them some stuff. There's not a lot going on. So I think that's going to be the biggest shift for you, is like you're still going to work a lot. Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
The good realtors, the ones who service their clients well, the
Mhm.
ones who produce the most, they still work a ton, but we get to shift how that. It's like, it's not 8 hours every single day. It's like, it might be 5 one day and 2 and then 10, and then take a day, and you're on vacation, but you may still answer an email, you may not, like, and it still functions, right?
Yes.
And the other side of that, and I think we're going to get into this at some point, is like because I think we probably have some realtors that are listening to this conversation, is when you build your business around you and your brand and your personality, like, you attract people to you. Like, you
Yeah.
don't end up chasing people. You bring your people to you, and they want to work with you.
And I'm so excited about that. Like, I do get a little bit of that now. I actually this is a funny thing about once you start learning about this and you start being able to spot the symptoms out in the wild, you
Hmm.
start like diagnosing everybody around you. And you're like, I'm not going to tell you, but like, I'm getting strong neurodivergent vibes from you. So not from you specifically, Zach, but I'm saying like just in general, when you interact with people, it's like you have a internal radar that starts going off.
For sure.
And I have found that a lot of my favorite buyers, especially over the years, have also
Hmm.
been neurodivergent. And they sense it in me, whether you even know that you're autistic or ADHD or not. Like, before I
Hmm.
was diagnosed, I was still drawn to those people because there's just a kinship there, and like, hey, you get it. You get the
Yeah.
way my brain works, and you understand, and you feel seen by that
Yep.
person.
And
So
that's a
I
big
think
deal.
I've just been attracting those people naturally even before I was diagnosed, because I am patient with a million questions, and like, I get what it's like. So I'm really, really excited to be able to be more open about it, more public about it, raise awareness, help get rid of stigma, but also to help people who are neurodivergent buyers and
Yeah.
sellers. To be able to work with somebody who understands what it's like is a really big deal. And I find those
Absolutely.
connections are so enriching. And I'm really excited to build that into my personal brand.
Yeah.
So that I can attract more people like that.
Well, and the
My
thing that
tribe.
yeah, attract your tribe. Your vibe attracts your
Mhm.
tribe, right? And the thing that I
Yep.
love about that, and the thing that, we're building, and the thing that we're focused on, as you and I have had this conversation, is it's like, hey, we want to be known as the new construction team here in DFW. Like, that's our goal. Like, well, of course we're going to do other things, but like, when it comes to buying new, like, there should be no better option than our team.
Yeah.
And whether that's me and you, whether that's me and 50 people, I don't know what that gets to. But it's that thing where it's like, hey, when we attract the right people, we
Mhm.
attract the right clients, we attract the right team members, like, it's going to be phenomenal. Like, I've been trying to wrap my head around, like, hey, the potential of what this means for how many people we get to help.
Yep.
Because I think we live in a world now where people, like, are drawn to authenticity, right? And
Mhm.
so if you've spent any time around me, or my YouTube channel or my Instagram or Megan's Insta, like what you see on camera or what you hear on audio, depending on where you're like, that's what you get, right? I'm gonna sell tons of homes in shorts and t-shirts. Like, you will never find me ever in a suit. Like, that's just not Zach, right? And I appreciate that, and like, and I appreciate that about you, of like, hey, you're willing to have that authentic conversation and say, no, this is who I really am. And it's like, yeah,
And
I may sell real estate, but I'm also a cat mom, and I'm also like neurodivergent, and like, all of these things mix together and make you who you are.
yeah.
And I think that's what brings people to you.
And honestly, it's scary as hell.
Oh yeah.
Even before I was diagnosed, like, a term that you'll hear a lot in the neurodivergent community is masking. People who grow up, people who are autistic and ADHD, they tend to experience a lot more bullying growing
Mm,
up. And so I feel like a lot of who I am got bullied out of me.
mm,
And as an adult, I'm having to work my way back to who
mhm,
I am and taking that mask off of like, this is the version of myself that I built up for safety. And so that I felt like I could succeed in my industry. And
mm.
working on being more vulnerable like this and talking about my experiences more and being more myself and just knowing that like the right people are not going to be scared off by that.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of therapy and a lot of work to get to this point, and I'm just really excited for what the future has in store now that I'm not having to spend so much energy masking and hiding that part of myself.
And that's going to be incredible. And then you take that, like, let's be honest for a second. You take that and you couple it with somebody who spent a decade working for 2 or 3 different
Yeah.
builders. 4, 3,
Like 4, 9 different communities, like
9 different, so
all
4
sorts of
builders,
different product lines, yeah.
4
And
4
that's the thing,
builders, 9 communities, 1,000 different product lines, especially the
I'm
last
gonna
one.
I'm gonna tell you something. Neurodivergent people have a superpower, and it
Yeah.
is hyperfixation.
Mm,
It is special interests. And I have a hyperfixation and a special interest on real estate, on
yeah.
social media marketing, on like all this stuff. I love it. I geek out about it. And
Yep.
so I will spend hours going down rabbit holes, learning stuff. Like
Yeah.
people tell me all the time in my job, they're like, thank you for answering all of our questions. You've been so helpful and informative and you know so much. Like, I'm just like, yeah,
Well,
I'm weird like that.
and again, if you take all of those things and you put them together and you couple it with your experience, like,
Mhm.
you're going to be able to walk somebody into a builder's office and like respectfully dominate. Not, and this is not like, hey, we're going to walk in and we're going to be a jerk, and
No,
we're not talking about that, because if you work with
nope,
working with us, you're not
that's
going
not
to
me,
get that.
not you.
But like
Yeah.
from a standpoint of, hey, what's in a builder's contract, how to
Mhm.
negotiate, where the back pocket money is, the questions to ask, like the
Mhm.
value of the resource that you will be. I can't, like, it's like, I heard somebody say one time, it's like, people pay you for your expertise, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you being involved in that, like the expertise that you bring to the table. Because if we're honest, there's a lot of realtors that like don't belong in the new construction space. Like they, for one reason, like, they don't do a ton of it. They try and domineer and bully, and it's like, that's
Yeah.
not the way to do it, or you're not educated. Like, and so you bringing that value is going to be, I don't even know what the word is for it. It's like,
And you bragged on me, so let me take a minute to brag on you, because like, as you can imagine, I've met a lot of realtors
yeah,
over, since 2013 is when I got started in this business. So I've met a lot of realtors over the years, and I wanted to work with you because, again, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I felt like you are also passionate about the same things that I'm passionate about in
yeah,
this industry. You're passionate about social media. You're passionate about helping people. You're passionate about learning.
yeah,
So those are things that I knew that I wanted to work with you. And you're such a generous person too. Like you don't have that competitive shark mindset of like, no, I'm gonna get to the top and I don't care who I have to step on to get there. You're
right.
like, no, like a rising tide lifts all boats. Let's help
It
each other
does.
out. Let's be collaborative. And I really, I, if I was going to make this move, like I was going to need to work with somebody that could offer that. And I'm really, really excited to see what we accomplish together.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Megan. So we've talked a little before, about background. So
Mhm.
I spent a decade in the church working with students and families, and so my heartbeat is to help. My heartbeat is to advocate. My heartbeat is to empower, and then I think that bleeds out into everything we do. And yeah, the rising tide lifts all boats. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I want to make a good living. I want to take care of my family. But I
Mhm.
also, I want people to buy houses. And at the end of the day, I had another conversation with another agent. They're like, hey, because I talk a lot about YouTube. YouTube is a big money it's a big business generator for me. And so
Mhm.
somebody's like, well, hey, if I did the same thing you're doing, like you wouldn't be offended. I'm like, absolutely not. Like, please come, like come play, come do it, because there is so much to go around in like if you had
Mhm.
1% of transactions in DFW, A, you would help a ton of people, but B, you would do very well. And it's
Yeah.
like, because again, I know like I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Like I know that I'm not, and I'm okay with that. Just like you're like, there's gonna be people that are like, yeah, no, Megan's just I can't deal with Megan. Um,
Mhm.
but
But I have a
again, like
strong personality. Sometimes people like they don't like that. You
yeah.
know?
Well,
Like,
and but
okay,
like
you're not
that
my people.
again, it's that vibe. You attract your people, and it's like when I
Mhm.
find my people, like my favorite thing, honestly, is when I get an email or I get a text, it's like, "Hey Zach, we found you on YouTube, and this is what we want to do," and I'm like, "Awesome, let's do that." And I'll
Mhm.
ask the question like, "Well, what video was it? What was the one thing?" And they'll be like, "Well, it was all of them." I'm like, "What do you mean it was all?" I'm like, "There's like 300 videos on my channel." It's like, "No, like we know you. Like you are our person. You like your mannerisms, the way you speak, the way you act, like that, like we and I don't know, like I think there's so much value in that of doing that. And then again, the generosity side of like, hey, I will give you everything I have for free. Like any knowledge, any expertise, like if I can give it away and help you, I'm 100%. That's what I want to
Yeah.
do.
And like the power of that, like I would not have been able to make this transition before social media marketing. Like
Oh
I may
no,
not seem like it, but I am an introvert. I do have to take a lot of time to recharge after a lot of socializing. Like door knocking, cold calling, it ain't it for me.
no,
Like even like happy hour networking, like
nope,
it's not my thing. And
nope.
so the ability to let people get to know who I am in this format is such a powerful thing, and I'm so thankful for it. Like, I would not have been able to do this without social
Oh,
media.
I straight up like I always think about like how do I want to be approached and how do I want to be engaged, right? And it's like I
Mhm,
want to be educated and I want information. I'm like I would not. So yeah, trying to build business beyond like I'm sure there are plenty of people that are successful and I love that for them. It's just not for me.
yeah.
And so
No.
that's the other thing that I think that's exciting about this is you get to do your business your way.
Mhm,
There's a tons of different brokerages, there's tons of different real estate models, like, and they work for like you just have to work the system. But what I love about where we're at is you get to build the thing that you want to have it the way that you want it to have it the way
mhm.
that was bad grammar. My English teacher would be mad. You get to build what you want
Yeah,
to achieve the dreams that you have in place. Let's fix
yeah.
that statement.
And, like, Pacesetter's a great company. My boss is a great boss to work for, but at the end of the day, like, I still have to get approval for, things
Yeah,
that I wanna do, and I'm looking forward to being my own boss and being able
come on,
to
come on.
build what I wanna build. So I'm just so psyched. I can't wait. And we got a lot of
And
really good things in store.
get to talk about all the really good builders and all the not so good builders. Like that'll be fun because
Yeah, I think we have, like, a
it
spill the tea episode coming up, don't we? Where we're
I
gonna
think
share
either
horror stories?
we did or maybe we've done it. I don't know, but if we haven't done it, we're definitely going to spill the tea. And I will say again, you know, from the pace setter side, like work that that's where you and I connected. And working with you and working with them as a builder, I still love selling their product. Their product is I live in their product. So
Yeah.
this is in no way, shape, or form like it's not that. This is more, Megan saw an opportunity, and I love that we live in a space where you can see those opportunities and capitalize on them,
Yeah.
right?
And I still
Um,
wanna sell Pacesetter homes just
yeah,
from the other
I
side of the
I hope they invite you to still sell their houses. Like I hope your name is on the other side of the ledger, selling a ton of their communities.
Mhm.
So us talk about that. So obviously North
Yeah,
Texas is huge.
it is.
So are
DFW is
we
huge.
Yeah, yeah, all of DFW is huge. So, of course, if it makes sense, you're gonna go where it makes sense. But where is your primary focus? Where do you like as a realtor, what do you want to be focused on? Where do you want to be focused on? And how are you gonna help with that?
Yeah. So I personally live in Anna, Texas, which
Okay.
is northeast of Dallas. It's up that 75 corridor, just past McKinney, which is a suburb that I know a lot of people know of now. Back
Yep.
in the day, McKinney was the boonies. But Anna and
To
the
be fair, it
surrounding
was the
area,
boonies like 5 years ago.
yeah, like 5 years ago.
Like, we're not talking a long time ago. It was like 5 years ago. All right,
Development
go ahead.
moves quickly here in Dallas. Yeah. Did you know we're set to surpass Chicago as the third largest metroplex in the country by 2030?
I
Isn't that
believe that.
nuts?
Yeah,
Isn't that
no, it
nuts?
with
So,
like I
anyways,
read an article the other day. It's like 1,000 people a day or something like that
yeah,
moving to DFW.
yeah. So, Anna is where I live. That's where I'm going to start. So, I actually am starting a YouTube channel
Come
and
on.
I'm going to be focused on lifestyle, on new construction, on when I say lifestyle, I mean the lifestyle in the areas that I'm going to be focusing on. So, what is it really going to be like to move to Anna, Texas or Melissa, Texas? Van Alstyne, McKinney, Allen, just this general area up here that I love. I've always loved this area, and being able to educate people on why they should move to this area, and why it is such a developing, hot
Oh,
part
yeah.
of the Metroplex right now. So that's going to be my main focus. But again, like especially year one, like I'm going to go where you need me to go if you want to work with me. So let's
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah, so that I mean, so we as a team, it's like we can cover the majority of North Texas. Like I've got stuff running, so we're out in the Rockwall Roy City area, and it's like I'm running stuff in Alito right now. I don't make a
Mhm.
habit of going out that way, but obviously, if it makes sense and we need something and you want help there, we can do that. So yeah, anywhere in North Texas, like I said, our specialty is going to be new construction. Of course, if you have additional needs beyond that, we are happy to help. Listings and
Absolutely.
resell, but primarily like new homes, builders inventory, quick move in new homes, all of that I think is going to be phenomenal. So I think
Our niche.
we will put your YouTube channel down in the show notes or whatever, however that works.
The
Show notes.
description?
Yeah, the description. I'm still learning the podcast thing. I don't know what the language is. Your YouTube, my YouTube, all of those things. Uh, and guys, we are so excited. So Megan, any final? I've got a couple final thoughts, but any final things from you as we wrap this story up?
So the thing that pops to mind is something like we could literally do a whole episode on, but I know that so many people have given up hope in our generation and Gen Z of ever
Mm,
being able to become homeowners.
yeah,
And that is something that I would also really like to focus my content on
yeah,
is helping first time buyers achieve that dream because I know it's harder now than it ever has been.
yeah.
And I don't want that to be out of reach for
Yeah.
anybody. So
I, I
that's something
think
I'm
I think
excited.
I think that's incredibly valuable because we were all those first time people at one point, right? And I
Yep.
think giving somebody a hand up in that scenario is one of the best things that we can do. So whether it's a $300,000 purchase or a $3 million purchase, um, we want to be here to help you guys. So that's why we're putting out the resources we are. That's why we're having the conversations we're having. That's why we're spending time with the builders is for you guys.
Mhm.
Both of us now, I've been waiting to be able to say that. So both of us excited to advocate for you, to work with you in a real estate transaction. So if you're interested, you need help, reach out. But also tell you if you're an agent and you're listening to this conversation and you want to learn, and you feel like you want to be aligned with us, we have the ability to do that. We definitely don't have everything figured out, but we have a lot of things figured out. And we can teach and train and help and coach and be a resource and be a guide and be a coach. And so if that's an interesting thing to you, you can reach out to us. I'll put links to calendars down below to have a discussion with me, discussion with Megan, partnering with us, and realistically partnering with us without it really costing you anything extra. I think a lot of times people want to do the partnership thing and they want to develop teams like, oh yeah, you're going to pay an additional split. I'm not going to do that. Like I believe in helping you build the business that you want to build. Success looks different for everybody. I have my production goals. Megan has hers, and we're gonna do what we can to help as many people as we can, whether it's an agent, whether it's in a transaction. So if we can be helpful, we would obviously. This is us putting the call out into the world. But we can't do anything unless you choose to take action and reach out to us. So thanks for hanging out with us. If you've missed any of the episodes, be sure and go check out some of those. And then going forward, make sure you're staying up to date with all of our podcast episodes. We've got stuff coming out weekly. So can't wait to hang out and help you in your home buying journey. Guys, we'll see you in our next episode. Bye, Megan.
Thanks for being here. Bye.
Bye, guys.